Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be comparing the most sought after radios of 2025, and that's the brand new Quansheng TK11 and the Ratel RT880. I'm going to try and be impartial to both of these radios and let you make up your own minds as to which is the best bang for your buck. They are both similarly priced, and you can find links to both of the radios in the video description and pin in the comments, along with discount codes that might become available. And now let's get started with the comparison. First of all, the similarities. Both of these radios are 10 watts, both have 1000 channels. The Ratel RT880 has 256 zones, and the TK11 has, I believe, 8 or 10 scan lists. Both radios are capable of receiving HF, shortwave and medium wave. They are both also capable of outputting approximately 4.5 watts on HF radio, including 27 and 29 megahertz. They both have a spectrum analyzer, and this is where the differences starts to emerge. The Ratel has a big color screen, while the Quansheng is black and white. Some might prefer the big color screen like myself, while others might prefer the smaller black and white screen that is always on and visible while the radio is on. The Ratel RT880 has 3 VFOs, meaning that it's capable of listening to 3 different channels or frequencies at the same time, while the Quansheng has only 2. Now getting to the HF part of the radios and where they differ. On both radios, for example, you can input the CB band, and both will transmit approximately 4.7 watts. Although the Ratel will transmit a bit more cleanly than the Quansheng, but the fundamental is almost identical on both radios. Now where they differ is that on the Ratel you can't input anything under 18 megahertz straight into VFO, and to listen to stuff, for example, 5 megahertz or anything in the kilohertz range, you'll need to open the dedicated radio. What I personally like about this radio is that you can save different frequencies, and you can do it straight from the radio or from the CPS. And you can also fine tune it. You have BFO, gain, band, step size, and other neat functions. Long pressing the hash key will switch to different bands. And again, you can fine tune it and change the step size, the BFO. Short pressing the hash key will switch modulation from AM to LSB, USB, and CW, and then back to LSB. Long pressing again will switch the band, and right now I'm in kilohertz. And again, you can fine tune it. You can also save the channels. When it comes to the Quansheng, you can just input the frequency straight into VFO. So for example, let's try 5 megahertz. You can also fine tune it, same as on the Ratel. But I'm not sure if you can do some of the more delicate adjustments. That being said, it might be possible, but I just didn't figure it out. And now let's try and input down into kilohertz range. So for example, 500 kilohertz. And same thing, you can adjust it up and down. Let's try 250 kilohertz. And it went in. Now, one big difference between the TK11 and the RT880 is that there's also a GPS version with APRS that's already on pre-sale on the Ratel's website. And I'm going to be leaving a link in the video description and pinning the comments. And if you use that link and the code TAC, you should receive 10% discount. Also, I should be receiving the GPS version in a couple of days. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to be doing a review on it. So if you guys want to see that, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload that video. Now getting back to the review, the TK11 has shortcuts on all of the number keys, whereas the RT880 has programmable keys, so you can assign any function that you want to any of the number keys or side keys, and you can do that straight from the radio. You don't need CPS. Now the TK11 will probably have some custom firmwares coming out soon with a better spectrum and even messaging maybe, but the Ratel RT880 already has a lot of features packed in, and also all sorts of micro adjustment like temporary power settings, RSSI, glitch, mic gain, and also the GPS version will have APRS, so you'll be able to send text messages from there. So yeah, considering that they're both almost the same price, it's up to you to decide which features do you want and which radio do you want to buy. And now let's compare the thickness of the radio. So from the side, the TK11 is slightly slimmer. The Quansheng has the classic K-type 2-pin connector, which is the same as Kenwood or Baofeng. So if you have a programming cable or microphone that works on your Baofeng radio, you can use it on this. Well, the Rattel has the new style GP328 Plus connector, and that's what the microphone connector looks like. And for those of you wondering, the accessories are quite cheap. You can get a mic like this for around $5 or a Motorola branded one for approximately $10. You can also order the radio with the official Rattel microphone, which I would advise you to do when ordering. And also, I've seen several Rattel prototypes and other radios, and they will all launch with the GP328 Plus connector. So it does look like this style of connector is the future. Now, with the Rattel RT880, you can program it via USB-C, and you can order the programming cable straight from the Rattel website or from AliExpress, or you can buy a $2 CH240 cable and switch over the green and white wires inside of it. I have a video on my channel on how to do that if you don't want to spend that much. However, I would advise you to buy the original cable. And links to everything I mentioned will be pinned in the comments. And now we're gonna compare the HF antenna ports and the HF antenna that comes with the Quansheng. Also, if you'd like, please leave a comment in my video and let me know which radio you think is better and which one did you end up buying if you did. Now, the Quansheng TK11 comes with a 3.5mm antenna jack, which is a bit of a weird choice. And this is the antenna that comes with the radio. However, I do think it's quite small. And the RT880 comes with this style of SMA connector. And you can buy a BNC adapter, which I highly advise you to do. And now you can add all sorts of BNC HF antennas, like this $4 one, or the official Rattel one for approximately $10, if I'm not mistaken. But also with the Quansheng, you can buy a cheap 3.5mm to BNC adapter, so you can also use BNC antennas on the Quansheng TK11. And that's what the radios look like with the antennas. And I do think that the small antenna that comes with the Quansheng is pretty bad. However, with a decent antenna, the HF receive is quite clear. But personally, I like the one on the RT880. So yeah, if you have any other questions about these two radios, please leave them in the comments. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, drop a comment, click the bell notification icon. You can also support my channel by buying me a coffee in the link pinned in the comments and in the video description. And also for the end of this video, if you're still here, I'm going to show you the full power tests. So on 145 megahertz is almost 10 watts. On 156.8 megahertz, it does over 10 watts. And that's the international calling frequency for all boats, aka channel 16. On 27 megahertz, it does almost 4.7 watts. And I did see people claiming that using this radio and the $4 antenna, they make contacts over 3,000 kilometers away or over 2,000 miles. And on 360 megahertz, it does 5.7 watts, which means that this radio will do SATCOM out of the box.
Keep heading the 2800, climb and maintain 3800, minimum 133. Heading 120.
And last but not least, the spectrum analyzer, which works amazing. And yeah, that was it for this video. See you all in the next one. Take care and 7-3.